2018 Mazda 2 review. The good points of Mazda 2. Distinctive, comfortable, technology-laden, efficient. The bad points of Mazda 2. Boot space, little steering feel, no hot version. Now employing the same Kodo design language as larger models in the range, the third generation of Mazda 2 is among the most stylish and distinctive small hatchback the firm has offered UK buyers. With its sights aimed squarely at Ford's Fiesta, Renault's Clio, Skoda's new Fabia, Vauxhall's refreshed Corsa and Volkswagen's Polo, the newest Mazda 2 has, typically for that firm, gone about things diversely. We ran one being a long-term or watch more here. Larger capacity engines. Particularly with petrol motors, many car makers are shrinking the engine capacity and adding a turbocharger to literally boost power up to levels customers are getting to be accustomed to. Not Mazda. Although the 1.5-liter, 104 bhp diesel in the brand new 2 is turbocharged, the many petrol engines, also 1.5s, are naturally aspirated and they are offered in 3 power outputs, 74 bhp, 89 bhp and 113 bhp. Despite the engine's relatively large capacity by contemporary small hatchback standards, performance and economy most of the time shades the ones from the Mazda 2's rivals, due to the firm's quest for Sky-active technology. The name presented to a suite of initiatives to further improve efficiency and save weight. Putting those efficiencies into context, all Mazda 2s emit 117 gkm of CO2 or less, even though the least economical engine choice really has an official claim of 56.5 miles per gallon. Manual transmissions are fitted as standard, 5-speed for that lower-powered petrols, 6-speed for that 113 bhp edition plus the diesel, although a lighter-weight 6-speed automatic is usually optionally suited to the 89 bhp petrol motor. Technology-laden specification. Aside through the special Sports Launch Edition, a normal Mazda 2 range will consist of 5 trim levels, and all of barring the bottom same model include a 7-inch color touchscreen and MZD Connect, a function that permits you to hook up your smartphone to reach various online services with the car. Upgrading the machine further to feature Sedan will be the Cell Nav and Sport Nav models, while Mazda claims its new 2 will be the first car inside the small hatchback segment to become offered that has a head-up display system meant to keep your eyes traveling. Mazda has divided the cabin into 2 distinct zones, which has a view to minimizing distractions to the driver. Although the touchscreen and rotary controller are intuitive and simple to use on the road, they're also easily reached with the front seat passenger too. Quest for refinement. Mazda adjusted to great lengths to enhance their revolutionary 2's refinement levels, having a range of petrol engines which might be barely audible at idle speeds. Great care continues to be taken to minimize all sorts of exterior noise from entering the cabin, the feeling of calm amplified because of the comfort-biased suspension. Everything feels well assembled and robust within the 2's cabin, although individuals who favor soft-touch plastics will probably be hard-pressed to discover any. It's a spacious cabin too, limited with 5-door bodywork. Although entry to the less roomy-than-average boot space is compromised using a high loading lip and narrowing aperture. Does the newcomer have the required steps to interrupt the small hatchback segment? Watch full new Mazda 2 review. Currently there isn't any plans for the Mazda 2 Performance Halo model, meaning the initial selection of 1.5-liter petrol and diesels having a maximum production of 113 bhp will be as sporty since it gets. Trio of petrol engines. As most small cars cover shorter distances, it's wise that a majority of Mazda 2 customers will opt to get a petrol power plant. There are 3 available, or, more accurately, one with 3 different power outputs. All petrol 2s feature 1.5-liter naturally aspirated non-turbocharged 4-cylinder engines, which might be uncannily smooth and quiet, particularly at lower speeds. Serving because range's feeder point is a 74 bhp version producing 135 Nm of torque and a relatively high 3,800 revolutions per minute. If you rarely venture away from urban confines of any city, this motor's skilled at the job of managing traffic without much oral drama. On the odd occasion you may need to take it further. There will be much towing and froing from the slick 5-speed manual gear lever, since you must swap ratios frequently to produce the most with the item's power it's got available. It gets coarser too since the speed increases, or when you must pull out of any junction having a greater degree of pace. The trade-off with the 106 mph top speed and leisurely 12.1-second trundle from 062 mph can be acclaimed 60.1 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 110 gkm. Mazda expects the 89 bhp version, again together with the 5-speed manual box, for being the most popular choice from the range, and it's easy to understand why. Not only does that extra 15 bhp, joined by an increase in torque to 148 Nm, liberate more performance 114 mph top speed and 062 mph in 9.4 seconds, efficiency is boosted too, with figures that beat the lowest-powered model. Official claims of 62.8 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 105 gkm make this one of the most frugal with the petrol versions. It's nevertheless worth noting that in spite of the raised torque figure, that peak rates are delivered at 4,000 revolutions per minute. Floor the throttle in 5th gear at motorway speeds and acceleration minute rates are glacial. Much gear changing remains to be required. Spend most with the time driving clear of urban confines, along with the 113 bhp version is more efficient, although it's only available within the range-topping Sport Nav version. Peak torque continues to be same because 89 bhp engine but using a 6-speed manual gearbox you've more prospects for extracting performance without changing ratios quite as much. Top speed is 124 miles per hour as you move. The 062 miles per hour sprint time is dispatched in 8.7 seconds. Efficiency needs a bit of any knock, with claimed fuel consumption dropping to 56.5 miles per gallon, emissions rising to 117 gkm. Automatic option. If everything that gear changing sounds tiresome, Mazda provides 2 by having an all-new 6-speed automatic transmission, exclusively paired towards the 89 bhp petrol engine. We've yet to operate a vehicle of this combination, but the way it's an actual automatic, as opposed to an automated manual, we expect it being impressively smooth functioning, well suited for diluting the drudgery of stop-start city driving. Performance and economy are sapped on account of the automatic's installation. A 110 miles per hour top speed is accompanied using a 12-second 062 miles per hour acceleration time. Mazda claims official figures of 58.9 miles per gallon and 112 gkm of CO2 too. Sole diesel offering. Turbocharging is part from the 1.5-liter diesel's arsenal, ensuring this Mazda 2 doesn't sacrifice an excessive amount of performance rolling around in its economy quest. With 104 bhp on tap and 220 Nm of torque, albeit produced in a still Revue 3,200 revolutions per minute, there'll be less must work the 6-speed manual gearbox while you approach its 111 miles per hour top speed, or change from standstill to 62 miles per hour in 10.1 seconds. Running cost is where the diesel really scores though, Mazda claiming a normal fuel utilization of 83.1 miles per gallon, while it's really the only sub-100 GkM2 inside the range at 89 GkM of CO2. As comfortable and competent because the Mazda 2 handling characteristics are, they don't deliver much inside the way of thrills. Rather than showcasing the agility afforded with the weight-saving efficiency measures, Mazda's instead chosen to improve the 2's refinement and feeling of being in a greater car, both to driver and passengers. This isn't a bad thing, and largely this brief's been successfully undertaken. Ride quality is a great one both at slower, urban speeds on and on faster along motorways, with good body control ensuring it doesn't porpoise after having a series of undulations. The 2 corners accurately too, the grippy tires securing well until gently pushing wider and faster bends when an excessive amount of speed nudges it into understeer. Body roll is kept neatly under control, including during rapid changes of direction, allowing the Mazda to feel stable and assured. While you're confident the Mazda's gonna head inside direction you're pointing it at, it's more of any seat-off-the-pants feel as opposed to the controls acting to be a conduit for communications on the road. In fact, holding the rim delivers not much sensation whatsoever. Steering feel aside, it plus the 2's other controls feel suitably weighted, erring for the lighter side and promoting ease of use in city environments. The 5-speed manual gearbox was slick to use operation, useful given how many times you'll use for it to extract performance from your Mazda, even though 6-speed version was slightly less satisfying to use action. If out-and-out driving fun is often a key buying factor to suit your needs, the Mazda 2's still from the Ford Fiesta's shade. It's normal for Japanese cars to obtain interiors which might be well built but made out of firmer plastics compared to those employed in many European cars. Along with this regard, the Mazda 2 isn't any different. Stylistically, the revolutionary 2's interior isn't dissimilar for the all-new MX-5 fancy car, having a driver-focused section Mazda calls the cockpit zone, as well as a wider section in front from the passenger. The reasoning is driver distraction is minimized with every one of the key information directly looking at them, while controls with the aircon and infotainment system, which aren't considered to be frequently, are to your side the spot that the front passenger can access them equally efficiently. The instrument Binnacle you can see, combining analog and digital graphics. Although we applaud the availability of the head-up display function in a vehicle of this size, it smacks more of the 1980s gaming in appearance than a beginning 21st century technical feature. Visibility is okay, having an unusually long bonnet approach to a small car, which assists position the nose when maneuvering around cities. Rear parking sensors aid further when negotiating tighter spots. Finding a cushy seating position will prove to become a doddle for almost all, the driver's seat adjustable for height plus the steering wheel for distance and angle. Large door mirrors also ensure clarity of rearward vision. By stretching the car's wheelbase by 80 mm and moving the cabin rearwards from the same amount, any additional interior space continues to be a welcome boost to Mazda 2 comfort levels. There's room for 4 6-foot adults to sit down comfortably, however the rear seat worked best accommodated by 3 children who've outgrown their baby car seats. Talking that, there are 2 ISOFIX mounting points in the event you need them. On the road plus the 2's a calm car to search, the interior's without any niggling squeaks and rattles, while noise from tires and air rushing in the door mirrors and around the windscreen pillars is kept impressively low too. Even the petrol engines are remarkably quiet when idling, so much in fact you'll discover yourself to be gently dabbing the accelerator to confirm it's running. Mazda shrunk its larger car underpinning philosophy to produce the 2, paying particular awareness of where occupants' feet rest and seats are mounted to be sure vibrations at those points are kept down too. There's a decent amount of adjustment inside the front seats, which remain feeling comfortable after many hours at the wheel. Combine all of these factors while using supple yet well-controlled suspension and damper settings along with a raft of normal equipment including connection on 89 bhp cell models onwards, as well as the Mazda 2 is a simple car to go long distances in. From its spring 2015 launch, the Mazda 2 entered 5 standard trim quantities of Cell Nav, Sport and Sport Nav, in addition on the limited availability Sports Launch Edition. Standard Mazda 2 equipment. Kicking off of the Mazda 2 hierarchy will be the SE trim level. It incorporates electrically adjustable door mirrors, a rear roof spoiler, a height adjustable driver's seat complemented by the steering wheel adjustable for reach and angle, trip computer, AM/FM radio with CD player and USB and aux connections, controls-mounted audio controls, remote central locking, electric front windows, aircon, stop-start function, hill hold function and tire pressure monitors. Progressing up a notch to Celide's 15-inch alloy wheels, front fog lights, electrically folding and heated door mirrors, a leather covering to the steering wheel and gear knob, 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seats, Bluetooth connectivity, electric rear windows, cruise control along with a speed limiter. Choose the 89 bhp version from the cell or better and you'll add the 7-inch color touchscreen with multimedia commander rotary controller and MZD Connect for app access, DAB radio, lane departure warning system and emergency city braking. There's little surprise that opting for your cell nav adds a sedan of function for the 7-inch touchscreen. Satisfying your more athletic side could be the sport trim. To the cell's equipment range it adds 16-inch alloy wheels, rear privacy glass, automatic headlights and wipers, rear parking sensors, a couple additional speakers for that sound system, climate control aircon and keyless entry. As using the cell trim, Sport Nav incorporates sedan as part from the package, whilst the 113 bhp edition from the Sport Nav also is sold with LED headlamps and day-running lights. For a finite period of availability for the start from the Mazda 2's life cycle, the stove also included the Sports Launch Edition. It raises the SE's equipment list with the help of 16-inch alloy wheels, rear privacy glass, automatic headlights and wipers, rear parking sensors, the 7-inch touchscreen with multimedia controller and integrated sat-nav. Optional Mazda 2 accessories. Due to your Mazda 2's comprehensive choice of equipment, factory-fitted choice is rather thin about the ground with regard to choice. As with many on the 2's contemporaries, merely one paint finish, Arctic White, can be obtained as standard. The 5 metallic, mica and pearlescent finishes are typically optional. Sport and Sport Nav models are also available having a striking two-tone cream and black leather interior option, including a contrast panel of padded leather throughout the dashboard. Other extras, such to be a choice of alloy wheel designs, sporty metal pedals to the accelerator, brake and clutch and extra interior lighting can be purchased as dealer-fit accessories from Mazda retailers. Yet for being verified with the crash testing experts at Euro NCAP, we nevertheless expect Mazda 2 safety levels to become very good. Not only could be the 2's structure certainly one of inherent strength, with predetermined crumple zones to absorb the brunt of impacts, occupants are further protected because of the standard fitment of anti-lock brakes, stability software and 6 airbags. 2 ISOFIX child seat mounting points are suited to the outer rear seat positions. Additionally, the 2 benefits through the availability of your number of preventative safety systems, including a blind spot warning function, making its debut with a European market Mazda, warning of cars approaching from behind that you could not have welcomed in your mirrors. Based for the same hardware is rear cross traffic alert, warning you of approaching traffic once you reverse out of any poorly sited parking space. Elsewhere, the Smart City Brake Support System provides emergency braking at lower urban speeds to negate, or otherwise minimize, crashes, while Mazda's also made its lane departure warning system available around the 2 for your first time. An improved version from the automatic high beam lights can also be available for the Mazda 2, an attribute made every one of them more illuminating when preloaded with full LED headlights. While there are various strings to its bow, Mazda 2 practicality is into location where it particularly shines in comparison with its main rivals. Key ingredients are available, such to be a 5-door body and also a spacious passenger cabin, but others inside class make carrying larger, bulkier items easier compared to Mazda does. Seats up as well as the 2 provides 280 liters of boot space, just like VW's Polo, although that car's Awachi experienced sale for 6 years. In fact, the Mazdas trumped from the Corsa 285 liters, Fiesta 290, Clio 300 plus the latest Fabia 330. Fold the trunk seat over. The 60 hours 40 minutes split is designed to the cell trim level upwards, noting that capacity reaches to a maximum of 950 liters, a figure again bested by those key rivals, while using Fabia again developing on top at 1,150 liters. Once you obtain your items to the Mazda's boot, it's well-shaped, which has a 1,000 mm gap between your wheel arches, ideal for wider items. Less helpful will be the 738 mm height in the ground in the boot entrance, as well as the narrow access point where the curve with the tailgate cuts into the bumper. Form over outright function here. Elsewhere within the cabin there's a lot of space for bits and bobs, with sensibly sized door bins, just right to carry on liter bottles, 2 little cubbies for storing assorted items located regarding the cabin, including the smartphone-sized area next to your 12-volt socket. Again, not class-leading, but it's sufficient.